All right, guys, it's Shalom with the Paradox Gaming Network, and today we're going to talk some Ashes of Creation. And I know a lot of people are getting frustrated, you're getting flustered, you're stuck on this. How late is Intrepid? What's going on? I'm not hearing anything. Well, I want to take a good, solid, objective look at, are they meeting their deliverables? And then we're going to talk about the new studio, a little bit about the combat, some bits and pieces we've been able to put together. So the big thing is, I constantly hear, how late is Intrepid? Well, back in March, they shuffled their 2019 timeline. They got rid of that before 2020 launch. And this was due to infrastructure reasons. They had to build their back end. They had to start all over again from the ground up. Now, while we haven't gotten a specific update on how that went, we got a little bit of an insight from Steven, where he said he ripped apart melee combat since the 20th. That's actually a really good sign. It means that they feel good about the back end and they're ready to start focusing more on the combat. Now, I've asked Steven for a soundbite and I hope that I get an answer, but I didn't think about asking him for it in time, so I'm not going to hold that against him. Now, back in March, the creative director's letter did clear the clock on expectations. However, that said, they're still late. They had previously promised a 2020 launch, or before 2020 launch. I'm not going to jump up and down on them. They gave reasons. I find those reasons acceptable. We have had testing. We've seen some improvement. That's good enough for me. If it's not good enough for you, leave a comment below and tell me why. But what I want to talk about is those other expectations that the creative director's letter set up. And I think that is what's causing the community to be a little inflamed right now. So back in March, we were told that we would get weekly updates on the progress of the MMORPG. We were also told that we would get a new video series called Dev Diaries. We would get live streams on the last Friday of the month at 11 a.m. Pacific. And we would get all of this rolled up to us in a monthly email newsletter. Now, that is a lot of things that we can be expecting every month. Yet people are caught up on the sound of silence. And I understand, I do kind of rabble-rouse on this point a little bit, but for good reason. So this comes from the tracker that I maintain that I'll talk about in a second. And you'll see this is a giant block of just dead air. We didn't get anything. You'll also notice that we're currently sitting in a block of dead air where it's been 4 weeks since we've got a quote-unquote weekly update. And people are mad at the silence because there's things missing that, dare I say, we feel entitled to, mainly those other two node blogs. It's almost worse that we got the scientific and the economic node blogs because we don't have the other two. It sort of puts a damper on theory crafting. Now, I understand what people say, especially new people. They feel like there just isn't any sense of communication. And what I think we got spoiled, because if you compare the 2019 Discord to the 2018 Discord, they are radically different. Now, part of that is Steven is a lot busier. I think once they get this studio move done, that'll free up some of his time, some of his brain power. And there's a lot of other bits and pieces that fall into place with the studio. But yes, I'm going to acknowledge it is a completely different community now in September of 2019 than it was in September of 2018. With that, I know people want to be like, but they're late. And I get it. It feels like they're late. The goal was to put out a new article every week. Content roadmap said 1 article per week, 1 video per month, 1 live stream per month. But when we look at the pure objective grading table, Intrepid's not actually doing that bad. The first one's an oof. There's been 26 weeks of opportunity for them to provide a weekly update. We've gotten 10 articles. Now, I know some people are going to say, but Steven giving you bits and pieces as an update? Yes. However, that's not checking the box for the expectation. So we've gotten 10 deliverables. Live streams, 6 out of 6, but only 50% have been on the last Friday. Now, is that a big deal? Yes and no. It's not a big deal if you're flexible. It is a big deal if you said they're going to be on the last Friday of every month and then 50% of the time you move it. If you have to move it, move it. Just say you're going to get a live stream in the last half of every month. Give yourself the flexibility to do what you need to do. The recap letters, we've gotten 5 out of 6. There is a humorous spoof one for the month we're missing on my website. Now, the monthly videos, you'll notice that we were supposed to get dev diaries every month. So that's why they only had 5 deliveries for an 83%. Now, in fairness, they did put out the teaser video last month around Gamescom, and it is a monthly video. But in the creative director's letter, you sort of specifically painted yourself into the corner with the Dev Diary series. Now, I do want to throw a caveat on this. I did get Steven to cancel the video before the end of August. I said, hey, Steven, cancel the video so I don't have to knock you as late. And so, yes, there's a reason. It's 83% because it's 83% Dev Diaries with the caveat of we did get a video in August. Creative director's letter, we were supposed to have one at this point. We've had one. Steven, your letter is due by the end of the month. However, I got to ding them. It wasn't on time. Little details, but I think the Q2 letter should actually appear in Q2. To their defense, they delayed it in advance. So I'm not going to jump up and down on them. They did delay it. They gave a reason, not an excuse. And testing, we've been told one time that there would be testing, and they delivered testing one time, on time. A couple other bits and pieces that we're waiting on. Exola, the change out, 105 days in the making. The referral link's working, 42 days in the making. And this for me is a really big deal. I had a lot of people that were interested in Ashes of Creation, and they don't want to be bothered putting in a referral code. I can't even tell if I'm driving people to the site. The referral system really needs to become a priority if you want to know if people are effectively driving referrals to your site. The studio move date, 11 November, 22 November. I've heard a couple of different dates. It looks like that's going to happen this time, and I'm happy for them. I'm going to talk that. And then Nodes 3, you guys know I had to put Nodes 3 on the chart. I had to put Nodes 3 on the chart because I talked to Steven about the new date during my interview with him in April, and I got told it's going to be near Alpha 1, so there's no real date here. Now, I want you guys to know all these things that you're seeing. If you want to go check out each of the deliverables at ashes101.com, I have a deliverables accountability. It will update as I update my side. It will tell you, you can click, you can link, you can see, oh, this is what they delivered. If you're missing something, I made your lives easy. Now, I do want to talk about realistic expectations. And this is where I think the community needs to be willing to talk to Intrepid and say, you're trying to do too much. Stop promising us communication and just go make the game. Like literally, just go make the damn game. We're okay with a little less communication. I think that they should change this up to 1 live stream per month, 1 dev diary per month, promise us and deliver 1 meaty article per month. Nodes, systems, mechanics, whatever. Now, you owe us 2 node blogs, and then after that, space this out to 1 meaty article per month, and then 1 feel-good piece. I'm going to tell you guys, I am usually not the feel-good piece kind of guy, but the article on the horse, the otters, the quarrier, they've been really well done. And I think dropping down to only 2 articles a month, and then the other 2 updates are going to be the live stream and the dev diary, it's going to get rid of this. It's going to get rid of these blocks of silence, because right now I can say I haven't heard anything from you for 4 weeks on a weekly update. But we've had a live stream, but we've had some other bits, but you haven't checked this box. So what do you guys think about this? Leave me a comment below. Do you guys like the idea of this change up? Is this something you'd like Intrepid to think about? Or do you necessarily need a formal weekly update every single week? Now, on the topic of the new studio, Intrepid had 2 prior move-in dates to other studios, and those locations fell through. And there is absolutely nothing we can do to be mad at Intrepid for this. I mean, you can be mad at Intrepid. I can't tell you not to be mad. You can be mad about whatever you want. But the reality of the situation is Steven had a place picked out. He was getting ready to move in. Everything was lined up. And then the company that owned the building got sold. And the new owners didn't want to move a video game company into the 2nd floor. So it is what it is in this regard. And this has had some impact on Intrepid's ability to upsize their staff. Now, we're 9 months overdue on that 2018 goal of having 100 staff in San Diego. And you guys know, I do beat up Intrepid for what your current staff number is. And I don't know why we can't seem to get like an honest to God count of how many staff you have. I've said numerous times, I will sign an NDA, give me a company roster, and then I will tell the community, I have seen a company roster, and yes, there are X number of people there. With that said, I will be expecting that will happen a lot faster because you have to have workspace. And so with the studios falling through, this is sequential failure. I know this as a project manager because I have had to move a team of 8 into a space that only sits 4. And while, yes, I can put the other 4 people on second shift or third shift, they can't work on all of the projects because I'm not there. So I'm only going to work an 8 to 12 hour day. So 4 hours of their day, they're not working on some of my projects. So just keep that in mind. This is a sequential series of things. Once they get the new studio moved, once they get moved into the new studio, they can hire up the staff. And as we can see, it's a pretty nice looking studio. That's some confidence there. It's that they're not going to hopscotch, that they're going to move into a place, they're going to set down some roots, and then they're not going to have to move again. It's not like we're going to hear in a year, oh, well, our interim place is now not big enough for us, we have to move again. Let's just get them moved into the studio, and then they can just press forward on development. Now, I do want to tell you guys the future of Action Tab Hybrid Combat. This is what I'm talking about. Sometimes we get weekly updates that aren't weekly updates. Steven had said on the 29th of August, if testing shows that the combat isn't fun, they're going to fall back to Tab with action templates and AoE abilities. And I'm the guy, I'm going to ask the question. And I said, has the conversation ever come up to just hit the nuke it button on Action Combat and go traditional Tab? And this is what I respect about Steven. He never, ever, ever backs away from the hard questions that I ask. And he knows I document them. Nah, the data's been good. I think we'll have a nice initial hybridization. And that's reassuring. That's why I put them into the videos. If he's going to take the time to answer my question on the Discord, and you don't want to be on the Discord, that's cool. I'm going to pull my stuff over to my video. Now, if you have a pressing question and you don't want to get on the Discord, again, leave me a comment. I try to roll up the community stuff. And speaking of rolling up the community stuff, I am doing an independent community survey. This has not been directed by Intrepid. They've not asked me to do this. I'm currently gathering your data. And now the survey's been up for a week. And I want to try to get one last round of responses. You'll find the link in the description below. I already have more responses on this survey than I've gotten from the other surveys I've done as directed in the past. I'm planning to close this on 21 September, and I'm going to release the results on or about 28 September. You guys know me as a content creator. I want to get those out by 28 September because I want to celebrate my birthday the next day, and then I'm moving into a MMO. I'm making a lot of content for a different game right now, so I want to make sure that I get this closed up and get you guys the good results. And with that said, that is it for today, guys. If you're new to Ashes of Creation, you'll see Ashes 101 on the screen. It's ashes101.com. Lots of information there. It is not a wiki. I write it more as an educational textbook. I add everything I put in there, I can find you a citation for, but I kind of make it more than just reading an encyclopedia of facts. If you're new to Ashes of Creation, this is my shameless plug. There's a referral code in the description below. Go ahead and register for Ashes of Creation. Use my referral code. It lets me know kind of where my content is reaching and how many new people it's reaching. And plus, I'm not going to lie to you. It puts 15% of your purchases back into my pocket. And then when Ashes comes out, I'm just going to have a bigger pile of money to give away. That's it for today. If you guys need me in a hurry, get me on Discord. I'm Jalon #0001. Or if you leave a comment below, I try to answer 100% of my comments. Some of them get lost in the void of YouTube. All right, I'm out. I'll see you after the live stream at the end of the month. What are you still doing here? Nobody ever stays this long. This is the end screen. Well, since you're here, there's a couple other videos I think you should check out. And all those names? Those are my patrons over at Patreon. I couldn't do this without them. So, big thanks to them for all their support.